there, dear viewers. This is English News Broadcast with your latest reports for today, Thursday, January 1, 2026. But first are the top stories. Activity assessment meeting held in the Central Region. Potable water project in Hashishai administrative area. India and Pakistan exchange lists of nuclear installations. And Congo reported 1,500 civilians killed in eastern violence. And your local reports. At an activity assessment meeting conducted by the Central Region on 30 and 31 December, it was reported that 87% of the set-out programs for 2025 have been implemented. According to reports presented at the meeting, the implemented programs include water and soil conservation, enhancement of agricultural development and productivity, construction and maintenance of dirt roads and asphalt roads, establishment and maintenance of potable water projects, preservation of ancient heritage and historical sites, follow-up on project implementation and capacity, as well as the establishment of an effective information system. Furthermore, the reports noted that encouraging activities have been carried out to address shortages observed in the education sector, with progress registered, training programs aimed at enhancing the capacity of use, provision of potable water supply for both humans and livestock, as well as effort towards the eradication of harmful practices. The participants, after conducting extensive discussions on the reports presented, adopted various recommendations, including finalizing unfinished projects, addressing public transportation problems, organizing training programs for government workers aimed at upgrading capacity, intensifying efforts towards the eradication of harmful practices, as well as conducting sustainable public awareness programs. Mr. ERi-TV Abraham, Managing Director of the region, on his part, indicating the strengths and challenges in the implementation of the 2025 programs, explained the charted out programs for 2026. Moving to the Ansaba region, a potable water project has been put in place in Hashishai administrative area of Haga subzone. The project was implemented in collaboration with the residents and the Water Development Unit of Ansaba region. The residents indicated that they had previously been using unsafe water, and that with the project now in place, they are able to access potable water supply from their backyards. The potable water project, which operates through a solar system, includes 5 kilometers of water pipeline from ERi River and 2 water distribution centers, and has begun providing clean water supply to residents. Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Umar, administrator of the administrative area, indicated that the water project has solved the long-standing problem of the residents, particularly in easing the burden on students and the elderly. Mr. Idris Mohammed Hamid, administrator of Haga subzone, on his part, noting the integrated effort undertaken to address the potable water problem of the residents, called for the judicious use of the project to ensure its sustainability. Hashishai administrative area, which is one of the 14 administrative areas of Haga subzone, comprises 15 villages and is home to over 10,000 residents. In an unrelated news, Eritrean delegation participated in the second Russia-Africa conference held in Cairo, Egypt on 19 and 20 December. At the conference, which was chaired by Dr. Badr Abdelati, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Egypt, Mr. Sergei Lavrov, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, expressed Russia's readiness to strengthen cooperation with African countries in various sectors. At the conference, Eritrea was represented by Mr. Aman Abdelwase, charge d'affaires at the Eritrean Embassy in Egypt, and Mr. Habib Mohammed Usman, head of media and culture. In the same vein, Mr. Aman Abdelwase and Mr. Mohammed Noor Idris, head of public and community affairs, conducted a seminar for nationals residing in Cairo, focusing on consular services as well as the activities and programs of national organizations. They also called for strengthening organizational capacity and participation in national affairs. In related news, Mr. Kibrat Takhste, Eritrea's Consul General in Frankfurt, Germany, and Mr. Ta'ama Haile, Head of Public and Community Affairs, conducted a seminar for nationals in Cologne on 20 December. The seminar, conducted under the theme Enhancing Awareness of Eritreans in the Diaspora, Eritrea's Sovereignty and Legitimacy, focused on the objective situation in the Horn of Africa and the world, the priorities of the people and government of Eritrea, as well as the role and contribution of diaspora nationals in safeguarding national sovereignty and nation building. The nationals, on their part, expressed their conviction to stand alongside their people and government, as always, and to play their due part in national affairs. Next is your international reports and more, so stay tuned. Welcome back. India and Pakistan today, Thursday, January 1, 2026, exchanged a list of their nuclear installations under a bilateral pact that prohibits the two sides from attacking each other's atomic facilities. The exchange of the list came even as the ties between the two countries remain under a deep freeze, following four-day military hostilities last May. The two countries also exchanged a list of prisoners under the Consular Access Agreement signed on May 21, 2008. The Foreign Office spokesman Tahir Andrabi said that the list of nuclear installations and facilities was handed over to the representative of the Indian High Commission and the Foreign Office. He said India was also sharing a similar list with Pakistani officials in New Delhi. The agreement on nuclear installations was signed on December 31, 1988 and came into force on January 27, 1991. The pact mandates the two countries to inform each other of nuclear installations and facilities to be covered under the agreement on the 1st of January of every calendar year. In today's final report, the government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo said yesterday that more than 1,500 civilians had been killed in escalating violence in the country's eastern province of South Kivu since early December. In a statement, the government said fighting has intensified in several areas of the province, where armed operations have triggered large-scale displacement. Meanwhile, more than 500,000 people have been forced to flee their homes amid continuing insecurity. The government said that the front lines have gradually shifted southward, affecting multiple areas in South Kivu. The authorities attributed the escalation to armed groups operating in the region, accusing them of violating existing commitments and international humanitarian law. Eastern Congo has faced decades of instability, a situation that has worsened since the resurgence of the March 23 movement rebel group in late 2021. This wraps up our coverage for today, dear viewers, but before we say goodbye, a quick reminder of the top stories. The activity assessment meeting held in the Central Region. Potable water project in Hashushai administrative area. India and Pakistan exchange lists of nuclear installations. And Congo reported 1,500 civilians killed in eastern violence. We'll be back tomorrow with more news and developments, but until then, Happy New Year and thanks for watching.